speaking at the
It gives me
valedictory
great
address
pleasure
of
to
the
be speaking at the
Symposium on
valedictory address
International
of the
Automotive Technology,
Symposium on
and I
International
congratulate
Automotive
ARI
Technology,
for
and I
organizing this.
congratulate ARI for
This year
organizing
is a
this.
special as it makes the beginning of
This year is
celebrations
special as it
of
makes the beginning of
75 years of
celebrations
independence of
of
India.
75 years
We
of
are marching
independence
with
of
our
India.
vision led by Prime Minister
We
Sri
are marching with our vision led by Prime Minister Sri Modi ji with a focus on becoming Atmanirbhar across all sectors. Our automobile sector is the pride of India, and I am sure that it will take India's manufacturing forwards towards new heights, matching and even better than international standards. India's auto sector contributes to 7.1% of the overall nation's GDP and 49% of the manufacturing GDP, with an annual turnover of rupees 7.5 lakh crore and export of rupees 3.5 lakh crore. The automotive industry is going through a challenging phase due to the impact of pandemic, and I am happy that it is now in recovery mode. It is simultaneously working towards developing cost-effective and high-quality mobility solution to meet the goal of Atmanirbhar Bharat. The automobile industry is a vital player in India's vision to become a $5 trillion economy. The government is working towards making the country a number one global automobile manufacturing hub in the coming years. Towards this end, the government has launched various schemes such as FAME and PLI for strengthening the automotive sector in India. Recently launched Production Link Incentive Scheme aims to boost Atmanirbhar automotive technology products in the Indian auto sector, which help to lower fossil fuel emissions. Particularly, it includes technologies for battery electric vehicle and those that use of hydrogen fuel cells. The government expects the scheme will lead a fresh investment of more than rupees 42,500 crore and creation of additional 7.5 lakh jobs in the sector. I appreciate our automotive sector for taking transformative steps from time to time for bettering fuel efficiency, emissions, and road safety aspects. ARI plays a major role in the journey towards sustainable mobility in India. Institutions such as ARI have the responsibility of keeping themselves updated with the best global practices and giving advice to auto companies and to the government. My ministry is focusing on improving in the road infrastructure through the significant addition of highways, expressways, logistic parks, tunnels to enhance connectivity and thereby strengthening the national infrastructure to support the automotive sector. As far as public transportation is concerned, the need of the hour is to develop import substitute, cost effective, pollution free, and indigenous mobility solution for India. The dependence on imported crude oil needs to be reduced. Developing electric mobility solution for mass transportation in India will greatly help in reducing the environment pollution in urban areas. I am happy to note that several global brands are entering India as well as several local entrepreneurs are setting up large facilities to mass produce electric vehicles. As per a report, electric two-wheeler sales in the country recently stood at 13,335 units, witnessing a massive 229% month-over-month jump and year-over-year leap in the registration of 836%. This is extremely encouraging. There is a massive response seen in the domestic market for electric scooters from new startups. Recently, a company has set a record of booking of about 1 lakh unit of electric two-wheelers worth rupees 1100 crore during closing days. All of this is possible only due to the economic of electric vehicles. The per kilometer cost is so low that people will slowly drift away from petrol and diesel vehicles. In battery operated EVs, we can generate 81% value of lithium ion battery in India. I am pursuing research for its more sustainable substitutes such as aluminum ion, zinc ion, sodium ion batteries. ARI can further explore the battery alternatives and can join hands with ISRO, DRDO, IITs who are working for the development of indigenous and low-cost battery technologies such as metal ion and metal air. Research on developing long-life, low-cost, high-efficiency batteries and EV component is also the need of the hour. This is the time to slightly modify our approach of how we are looking at the life cycle of energy and we are using for transport. The most appropriate way is the cradle to grave approach, which takes into account carbon emissions right from the method of generation of energy until it is emitted in the form of emissions. We need to focus on the generation of electricity from renewable energy sources like solar, wind, tidal, hydropower and biomass. We have abundant solar energy that can be easily utilized by large to generate low cost and clean electricity. And I am happy to note ARI has established a center of green mobility to undertake research activities in e-mobility and also supporting the automotive industry for their development and certification requirements. It is also worth mentioning here that ARI has developed an indigenous battery charger for electric vehicles which will be soon available in the market at an affordable cost. I have been told that ARI is testing the advanced driver assistance system being installed in a vehicle, and it is a very important tool for road safety. My suggestion is that technology companies like Intel can assist you to evaluate the efficiency and adaptability of artificial intelligence AI based system at a mass level. I have recently launched a similar project in my constituency in Nagpur. NHAI is also developing electric vehicle charging infrastructure along the highway to promote the use of electric vehicles. Simultaneously, use of alternative fuels like ethanol, methanol, bio-CNG, LNG, SCNG and green hydrogen are important for reducing the use of fossil fuels in transportation. The recent launch of 100% ethanol pumps and E20 fuel program and by our Honorable Prime Minister is an important step towards the encouraging the use of ethanol in India. Ethanol is an environmentally friendly biofuel that provides an additional source of income to the farmers. The new biofuel policy launched by the Petroleum Ministry encourages ethanol production from sources such as surplus food grains, rice, corn, sugar, BAB molasses and sugarcane juice. The 2G and 3G ethanol production program will help higher production of ethanol, which will ensure meeting of E20 blending target by 2025. We are also planning to introduce flex fuel vehicle, which allow operations of the vehicles on 100% ethanol and petrol. The flex engine based vehicles are already running in the USA, Brazil and Canada. Few of these brands are successfully operating in India too. I recently interacted with the Science and Technology Minister of Brazil and I was really impressed of how Brazil have been using ethanol since more than 60 years in their transport sector. They have a compulsory blend of 27% of ethanol in petrol. In Brazil, 83% of their total light vehicles are flex engines. My aim is to move on similar paths in India and transform our auto sector by diversifying the strength of our agriculture sector into energy and power. Also in Brazil, they are using ethanol for aviation, and that is very important that we have to research, making more research on how we can use 100% bioethanol on aviation. This can be a game changer. I was also told that hybrid flex ethanol based engine emits 77% less greenhouse gas emissions as compared to BS6 equivalent petrol engines. The technology is recently available and it is just a matter of time to take that leap that will transform the transport landscape of India forever. I appeal institutions such as ARAI to take up challenge upon themselves and work towards developing BS6 of Euro 6 equivalent flex engines and the use of ethanol as a transportation fuel will solve environmental pollution issues along with creating jobs and other socio-economic benefits. The generation of bio-CNG from agriculture waste will solve the problem of air pollution caused by the burning of agriculture waste in the fields. The use of bio-CNG as a vehicular fuel is also encouraged in India. I already launched my own old tractor, which was converted from diesel to bio-CNG. It helps in saving of more than 1 lakh rupees for farmers per year. The National Hydrogen Mission launched by the Honorable PM seeks to develop hydrogen technology for the benefit of the mobility sector and make India the leader in production and usage of green hydrogen. 70% of the green hydrogen production cost come from electricity cost. Hence, surplus electricity from renewable energy sources can completely change the economics of production of green hydrogen production. The green hydrogen is termed as the fuel of the future, and it is the only fuel which can help us achieve the mission of zero carbon emission. Our ministry has already notified standards for emission and safety for green hydrogen. We need to find appropriate and affordable technology for the generation, transportation and storage of green hydrogen. My advice to you all is to use the expertise available with institutions such as ISRO and IOCL. We have a great expertise with handling of hydrogen. Collaboration of auto companies with such institutions should be promoted. I am particularly stressing for research and development on electrolyzer technology. Low-cost electrolyzers will be a game changer in the energy ecosystem in India. Research performed by IIT Madras on hydrogen fuel cell is very interesting, where they are trying to generate energy from sea-based salt water and solar power. LNG as a fuel for long-run trucks and buses is economically viable. The cost of conversion of old diesel trucks to LNG engine is rupees 10 lakh, which can be recovered within only 295 days. I compliment the team of ARI for the reports of conducting research project on E20, M15, Bio-CNG, DME and SCNG, and the role of ARI is developing standards and regulations is also very much appreciated. One of the solutions to reduce pollution from existing diesel buses is the use of retrofitment technologies. ARI should develop and establish an ecosystem for conversion of a large number of state transport undertaking buses and other diesel-run commercial trucks to electric, CNG, LNG and other alternative fuel compatible engines. It would save huge cost and resources for the agencies apart from environmental benefits. The safety scenario on Indian roads needs improvement. Every year, approximately 1.5 lakh people die on Indian roads in almost 5 lakh accidents. The concept of zero vision, that is achieving zero accidents and zero loss of life, is being adopted in India similar to European countries. There is a need to improve bus body quality for the safety and comfort of passengers. The provision of high-tech and AC cabins in long-run trucks and buses will improve the ease of driving and avoid driver fatigue, which is a major reason for accidents in heavy-duty vehicles which operate on long routes. In a recent meeting of the National Road Safety Council, I have instructed for making a policy for installation of a sleep detection device in vehicles to address the issue of driver fatigue and to also fix driving hours, similar to European standards. The focus should be to make Indian vehicles at par with international standards in terms of crash safety, body designs and corporate average fuel efficiency, CAF norms. I have recently decided to make the use of 6 airbags compulsory across all segments of private vehicles to secure lives of other passengers apart from the driver and front passengers. The first ever vehicle scrappage policy also seeks to eliminate older vehicles and introducing new lesser polluting vehicle in phased manner. This will greatly improve air quality and also provide a new boost to automotive demand. The challenge to establish a circular economy is that how to recover maximum value from the scrap or end of life vehicle. ARI, SAE India, and other auto sector stakeholders can learn from other nations such as Belgium and Japan, where 90 to 95% of the vehicle is recovered with vehicle designs, component make, and recycling technology. While the industry is facing a global semiconductor chip shortage, we must think how we can use scrapping policy to address this concern. Semiconductor metals such as lithium and aluminum can be reused in automobile components. I also believe mass transport solutions like metro, regional train connectivity, bus rapid transit on electricity, and green hydrogen will reduce congestion and pollution on roads. We are rapidly developing innovative mobility solutions like ropeway, cable car, funicular rail, road train buses, and the government is committed to shift public transport and logistics on 100% green and clean sources of energy. The discussion in this symposium have generated valuable ideas from various experts across the global, and I am sure that inputs will help us policymakers to decide further strategies in the automotive area. On behalf of the Government of India, assured all support to the automotive industry and ARAI in particular for their future milestones. I will request you the three important challenges which the country is facing. One is air pollution, water pollution, and sound pollution. I feel that the automobile sector is related with the air pollution and sound pollution. I will request ARAI authority to think on the line that how we can improve the sound pollution in the country. Presently, the sound of the horn, siren is really very dangerous. It's not good for the human health. Now this is the time that we can use the Indian instrument sound for that. Even for the sound for like sirens and other thing, we can use, I remember that All India Radio tune, which was actually given by a Jewish artist who is from Germany at that time. It is presently also remember as a good memory in the life of the people, particularly in Indian people. And that is the reason that there are a lot of improvement we can make it as far as the sound pollution is concerned. Regarding the sound of the vehicle, particularly the shock absorbers and other thing also, here we need to work more. That is the need of the hour. We should have vehicles without sound. So I request particularly the ARAI expert people and the authority to think on the line that how we can reduce the air pollution. We are on the track already. You are working lot of thing on that. But particularly in the sound pollution also, I will address you and I will request you that this is the time for give me the good suggestion for changing this law. It is in the process that already in the environment law there is a provision that we can make that law. I am working on that. I need your good suggestion for that, where it can be useful for the society and for the country. I am thank ARAI for inviting me to this event and providing an esteemed platform to share my views. Once again, giving thanks to all participants and giving my special best wishes to the people who are giving good research paper, and particularly lot of people from India also, and their research innovations and their the new thing which they are giving by their paper is really very remarkable. I always talking to the people that the innovation, entrepreneurships, science, technology, research, skilled and successful practices, we name it as knowledge, and conversion of knowledge into wealth is the future. And I'm really happy that lot of Indian engineers in the different institutions are making good research and making research of international benchmark. This is also a good achievement for the country. We should encourage this young generation who are working hard and making good research in different fields related with the automobile. I am giving my all best wishes to all of them, and I am giving my special thanks to you, all of you, giving recognition and respect for this new research people who are doing research. We should support them, we should give them award, we should recognize them, because their research is really very valuable for the future of our country. Once again, giving my thanks to all of you. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you so much.